Have you ever had the experience of coming across something that instantly lit you up the moment that you saw it? You saw it and you thought, I really want that. I want that. That is so beautiful, or that is such an amazing experience. I want to experience that. And then immediately after that rush of good feelings, you kind of plummet because you think, but I can't afford it, or that person would never be into me, or I'm not good enough to get that position. What do you do when that happens? Some of us, we work extra hard to prove ourselves. We try to prove our worthiness. We try to prove our intelligence. We get more degrees. We try harder. We show, that person or life that we deserve this opportunity. And sometimes those are the exact right steps to take because they give us the feeling of confidence that we weren't able to access before. But what if you could just tap into that feeling of confidence and then take the inspired step, whether it is to get more qualifications or to do a demonstration of love or what have you? I wonder how it would turn out. Because when we come from the position that we have to prove our worthiness, we're inherently resisting this belief that we aren't worthy. And resisting the belief doesn't change the belief. It just makes it more pronounced. In fact, we may begin to fear that if we slip up, we'll no longer be worthy. We may begin to fear that we have to be perfect in order to keep this position that we've worked so hard for, or this relationship that we've changed so much of ourselves to fit into. And we end up in this place of even more limitation, feeling even more constricted than when we began. That initial rush of, oh my goodness, that feels just right. That feels like an alignment with what I want is gone. And instead we have been emphasizing and actually focusing on a feeling of not being worthy. Some of us, we buckle entirely when that thought hits that I don't have enough or I'm not enough, and we don't even bother trying. We give up on that desire immediately. We've done this before. We know how it ends, and we're just not going to get what we want. We give up because we think it's easier to give up than to suffer the pain of wanting something that we can't have. But the desire doesn't go away. The pain of not having it doesn't go away. We just put our lives in a smaller and smaller box. Just like the previous person, we feel even more constricted. We have moved away from that expansive energy that the desire brought and just confined ourselves in a different way. And then there are some of us who remember that everything is energy and our vibration matters and our vibration is powerful. Our vibration has an attractive quality. And so we try to shift our vibration by shifting our thoughts and shifting our beliefs. So instead of I can't afford it, I can afford it. What would it feel like to feel like I can't afford it, or I can have an amazing relationship? What beliefs do I need to change in order to believe that? We can also start to look for examples of what we want in our life. We can look and see who's done it before and get like secondhand vibration, right? Catch the vibe secondhand and try to replicate it. All of this is important, and it's actually tools that I've given clients before in the past when dealing with sexual shame and wanting to flip the script and actually rewrite how they associate to their sexuality. Notice that their sexuality is beautiful, it's sacred, it's wonderful, and look for people who are expressing their sexuality in such a way that actually feels in alignment with what they're desiring to express, right? Openness, a sense of pride, a sense of love and compassion for ourselves, right? And all of that is important, and it can help to convince ourselves that, yeah, I can be that. I can do that, right? I can totally see myself doing it now that I've seen someone else doing it. But not all of our desires have examples out in the real world. Not everything that you want actually already exists for you to kind of catch a vibe off of. And there are elements of your desire, even if it exists in the world, that are going to come together in such a way that is totally unique to you. The universe has a way of bringing your desire together that combines not just one element of what you want to experience, but many elements. All the desires that you've put out there throughout the course of your life, all the desires that have accumulated together. They've kind of formed this thing that is beyond what already is and beyond what you can imagine when you're thinking about your desire from the mind of limitations. You don't just want what someone else has. I know you may think that you do. You don't just want what they want. You want what you want. You want what you want. You want what you have already become, what your deeper self has already become and aligned with. And so rather than trying to work through limiting beliefs or your doubts, why not go straight to the source? Switch modes and access the deeper self. When we try to problem solve or attract from the mind of limitations, our point of attraction is still in the realm of limitations. It makes sense. That's where we are observing from. We're observing limitations and we're trying to solve or attract something different, but our point of attraction has not changed. And so we have to shift modes. We have to come into the deeper self if we want to experience our desire, the fullest expression of our desire, the highest potential of our desire. If we want to experience that, we have to shift over to the deeper self, where we can tune into infinite intelligence, where ideas flow easily, and we are able to go beyond the mind of limitation, where we can actually sense beyond even our initial desire. We can feel into something even more expansive than we were imagining. And what I'm calling the mind of limitation, it's actually the state of being where we're observing problems. It's where we are either trying to think of solutions based on something that happened in the past, like what's worked for us in the past, or we're comparing our life to someone else's and we're trying to think based off of what they have done, what has been successful for them. Just reaching into the past or comparing someone else's journey is innately limiting because you aren't that person. And as much as we say it frequently, history doesn't actually repeat itself like that. So if you're holding a vibration that is, akin to something from the past, sure, it will repeat. But that's what's repeating. That's what's causing the repeat attraction. It's not, this innate thing within nature. It's not a natural law that history must repeat itself. The deeper self, your deeper self, this aspect of you that you have access to right now, it is located almost, if you can think of it, on a different plane. Vibrationally, it's on a different plane. It's a vibrationally different state of being. And so the point of attraction from there is going to be different. When you allow your mind to blend with the deeper self, you attract different thoughts and different experiences. And these innately are going to be in alignment with your desires because your deeper self is always in alignment with your desires. And so now you're probably wondering, is it ever appropriate to wrestle with a limiting belief or a doubt that you have? Is there ever a right time to do that? And sure, maybe if you're in a place where you can't access your deeper self and the tools that you have access to at this moment is just, I know I can kind of rework this thought, you can give it a try. But I've found that a moment of relief, that I might get from wrestling with limitations or limiting belief, it's just not worth it. It's much better to step away, to tune back into my deeper self and allow a solution that is so easy. I mean, once you get this down, it can take moments, it takes seconds, right, to tune back in once you build this muscle. And so once you master this, there really is no need to wrestle with your limiting beliefs or to try to convince yourself that a doubt that you're thinking isn't valid. You're always going to find some valid reasoning for your doubt. It wouldn't be occurring to you, it wouldn't matter if it was completely baseless. Tuning to your deeper self is just an easier way to master your alignment. Once you've successfully tapped into your deeper self, once you've had a successful moment or meditation practice where you tuned into your deeper self, you felt that elevation, you felt that lift, you felt that glow, you felt that burst of energy, then you will actually be able to tell when you then employ a different technique and you try to wrestle with your limiting beliefs or convince yourself that, you are worthy. You try to make the case for yourself. You can actually feel that when you start to do that, you're drifting away from your deeper self. You can feel the alignment you feel the energy move. You feel yourself drifting out of alignment and you can tell something doesn't quite feel right. So what is it about this kind of efforting when it comes to trying to get in alignment with our desires? What is it about this kind of efforting that actually feels so unnatural for the deeper self? We're going to get into it in the next episode. Next week, we're going to get into why this kind of efforting is not in alignment with the deeper self. And so be sure to subscribe so that you get notified when that episode releases. And if you haven't already, head to uniquebelle.com/shop to purchase the Accessing the Deeper Self meditation. And of course, there are many ways to tune into your deeper self. You can tune in through your own meditation practice if you already have a successful meditation practice for this. You can tune in by I love listening to the wind in the trees, soft sounds. There's so many ways to tune in when you're, on a beautiful walk in nature, or you're out and about and you're tasting something delicious. Maybe you're getting some ice cream, although it's not ice cream season at the moment. Maybe you go apple picking and you're just in that state of joy. Whatever it is that gets you there, wonderful. But if you'd like to start tuning in through a guided meditation practice, go ahead and purchase the Accessing the Deeper Self guided meditation. My personal favorite time to do this meditation is first thing in the morning, but sometimes I double dip. I get an afternoon practice in, or I do it in the evening as well. So feel free to, incorporate it into your existing morning practice and, do it as many times as feels beneficial to you until you build up that muscle and you can do it without the guided audio. I'm also hosting a live webinar series. It's going to be 10 weeks long called Accessing the Deeper Self. We're going to dive deeper into some of the topics we discuss here in the podcast and also some new ones. So if you'd like to join me live to get some additional tools and ask your questions, then come on and join me. The link to register is going to be in the description box below. All the details are going to be available on uniquebelle.com/events if you're listening to this podcast in the future and the event has ended. You can actually go ahead and check out what webinar series is live or what events are upcoming this season. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you've already hit subscribe. But if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit subscribe and comment any questions that you have for me below. And I'd love to connect with you there in the comments. Bye! See you next week.